I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the weather's clear, can do.
Hello, racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Barn Grill. I'm Mike Heads, and Drew Forster. I'm going to go through the Holiday Monday. May to the 22nd races at Hastings. We do have 8 on tap, 2 stakes races. The Jim Coleman Province for the 3-year-old colts going 6.5, as well as the Ross McLeod for 3-year-old fillies. That'll be the first 2 races, actually, on the Monday program.
The party gets started early. Yes, for Victoria Day, as Mike mentioned, 2 stakes to kick it off. Girls are first in the Ross McLeod. $50,000 stake for 3-year-old fillies. Field of 5 here, and there might be 5 in here because Dazzlin' Dawn might have scared off a few. An absolutely scintillating performance by her in the last one. She is my top selection. Won by almost 9. They went the half from 46. She came home 115-4, like a rocket ship.
Yep. Look good, look great.
She is. It's going to take some beating to. It's going to take some running to try and beat her in here. I mean, anything close to that performance, she wins again. She got a 79 buyer for it. Just could not have been more impressive.
She got better than that.
I thought more an 85 or an 88 or something. High 80s.
115. You don't run 15 around here very often.
No, they don't. Yeah, she could have been 10 points higher.
Track was really fast, though.
Yeah, and she was extremely fast as well. Yeah, I mean, use all the superlatives you want. That was her on that day. Going to be very difficult to beat her. She's drawn well on the outside. Richard has a lot of options, and what a handful Dazzlin' Dawn will be. I put Anstrom in the second spot, a newcomer to this. She was stakes place last year, only got beat a half in the futurity last year behind Spirit Bay, who was in the 1 hole here. But I thought a great run for her. Phil Hall's on fire. In a very tough maiden special weight, she ran super professionally, weaved her way through traffic, made a nice move, and won comfortably in hand under Silvino Morales. He climbs aboard again for Phil Hall, like Anstrom in the second spot. And Yukon Bell. Disappointed in her last time. She did go down as a favorite, and it wasn't totally her fault. She had kind of a brutal trip, got trapped on the inside, had to check a couple times. The race was rougher than the line.
I know the chart doesn't say it.
The lines will tell you. First turn she got jammed. She got jammed a couple times. It was not a very easy trip for her first trip as a 3-year-old filly. So I'm going to go back to her in the third spot. But I do look for Yukon Bell. Further down the road, we start stretching out. That's when I think she will move up in my picks. I went 5, 3, 4 in the first.
Yeah, I agree with Dazzlin' Dawn. I don't have a lot to add. This horse was really impressive. Doesn't get a 4-wide trip or something in here, then the horse is going to win again. Yukon Bell, I put in for second. She's better than that race. She's come back to work well, and she'll be better than that one. And I put the 1 Spirit Bay, who had a 4-wide trip on a track that favored inside and speed, and didn't get much of a trip either. Spirit Bay has since come back to work well. I think she's better than Anstrom in the Phil Hall barn, but we'll see. She did beat her in the futurity, but Anstrom has that confidence boost of a win in a maiden race. These are tougher horses. Something better. I left her out. She's nice too. She's fast. She's got speed. No luck in her first run at Turf Paradise. She was 4-wide early. But still, she's got good speed, nicely drawn. Quincy Welsh in town to ride. All 5 fillies are accomplished.
Exactly. If Dazzlin' Dawn doesn't do what she did last time, like if she does what she did last time, nobody catches her.
It's tough to repeat that.
But if she regresses a little bit, it's a wide open race. Yeah.
She was impressive. That filly, Dazzlin' Dawn, was huge. I went 5, 4, and 1 in the Ross McLeod. On to the second race, Jim Coleman Province. Once again, a field of 5. A little light on our stakes 3-year-olds this year so far. But things will change as they stretch out.
It's early. We just got to water the plants a little bit more. We'll get some more 3-year-olds.
Got a field of 5 going the 6.5 furlong trip. I ended up on the 3 fall last. Quincy Welsh, Don Denard, Curtis Landry, and Greg Tracy's runner. Wow, the horse was super huge on opening day, winning in 1:10-1. That was like crazy fast.
Impressive.
The track was quick. Once again, it was another track that favored speed. It favored inside horses, just like the Dazzlin' Dawn race. The track was faster than usual, but still, this horse looked really good. Beat older horses in his first run at Turf Paradise. Just has the one blemish behind Extreme Lyra at Northlands Park. This horse is live. Put the 4-horse Driller. Thought a good runner-up effort to Rock Victor, who was fall last stablemate in the Stellars J. Didn't break well. Rushed up. Chased a 44-4. Still held well, I thought.
Yeah.
This horse ran a good race. Once again, a very quick track. That track was really fast. Dazzlin' Dawn went in 15-4. The boys went in 16-2, but the track was extremely fast. I put the 2-horse AP Zona for Phil Hall and Peter Redicott, claimed for 40 down at Santa Anita. Had the one run on the turf for Blaine Wright at Golden Gate, been shipped north to Emerald Downs, and continued his trek up I-5 to Hastings, and I think his horse is pretty live as well. His horse, well, at least he'll test some of our 3-year-olds and see how we are for class. I went 3-4-2.
I got the same horses. I like the AP Zona more than Driller, though. I think I had a tough time making up my mind between Fall at Last and AP Zona. I did land on Fall at Last. He's got a trip over the oval here, and
He's the speed of the race too. He's going to get the lead by
it's going to be tough to catch. Couldn't have been more impressive last time. It was just an allowance race. It wasn't a stake, but he absolutely destroyed the field. Won by almost 8, and a good time, as you mentioned. And Quincy Welsh is in to ride him. I put AP Zona in second. This is a nice horse. Broke his maiden for 50 at Santa Anita. Ran back in a 40 for 3-year-olds. And Peter Redicott claimed him that day.
Yep.
Off Molly Pearson, I liked him that day. I watched the race. I thought it was a good race. He looked impressive. He's a big, good-looking son of Creative Cause. The Buyers aren't, doesn't match up against the 77 that Fall at Last got, but this horse fits. Blaine Wright had him. Last time he worked, I know Emerald's quick, but he just worked in 59 on May 14th. He's going to come up here on his toes. AP Zona is, I think,
live, definitely.
very live under Enrique Gonzalez. So I got Free at Last over AP Zona. I put Driller, as you mentioned, chased a 44 half.
After breaking slow.
And still stuck around a good second behind Rock Victor last time. I got him in the third spot. 3-2-4 for me and a competitive Jim Coleman. Province on to the third race.
More competitiveness.
Another good race here, 25 for older boys, going 6.5 furlongs. I went to the horse that just missed in this race, BC Charlie. It was a great first out for him. Just couldn't quite catch. It's in command, but a great move. It looks like there's enough speed in here. You got Pfeiffer likes to be forwardly placed. You got Bluegrass Angus. The odds are good. There should be enough pace in here. If it's finally Friday goes, should be enough pace in here to set up BC Charlie. I thought a professional move last time under Red Hot David Lopez. I put BC Charlie on top of Pfeiffer, who was third in that race. Mike actually picked Pfeiffer, and he was a nice 14-1 that day.
He ran well. He ran a good third.
He did run a very good
I
third.
thought he'd be closer to the pace, but he didn't break well.
Could be today under Amadeo Perez as Enrique Gonzalez jumps off to ride Brass and Golds. And Brass and Gold's definitely the class of the race in here. He's got the back class. Only ran 2 times last year. So I went BC Charlie, Pfeiffer. I put him in the third spot because he hasn't run. And horses that have run or have had winter races we've seen this year have a huge advantage. So I like BC Charlie over Pfeiffer. Those two just ran huge races at the same level last time. Got those two on top. The newcomer, Brass and Gold, who, as I said, has the class, but hasn't run. That scares me off him. 5, 1, and 4.
Yeah, I went to the 4 Brass and Gold. He was on the also eligibles. He didn't get in. That was the unlucky part. It was only 10 horses in the It's in Command BC Charlie race. He was actually in that race and didn't get in, and unfortunately. And he's had to work a couple times since. And he seems like his work tab indicates he's ready to run. He has had some physical issues. That's why he only ran twice last year. And you have to go back to
he's 8.
The BC Cup Classic in August of 2015 to find another win on him. But he's a classy dude that can sprint. And we'll see how he fares. But I didn't think this 25 came up very tough. He's faced a lot tougher company. I put the 6, pardon me. The odds are good in for second. He chased the 22-1, 45 and 3, or 44 and 3, pardon me. I'm not a BC Charlie ran great, but the race set up BC Charlie, and I just don't think the pace scenario is going to be like that.
I think it will. That's why I disagree with you, Mike. I think we get pace here.
Bluegrass Angus is.
It's finally Friday. Bluegrass Angus.
Finally Friday's not fast enough. You'll go to his races down below.
22, 45, yeah.
No, but below that, like last July.
Yeah.
He's
but the odds are good. The odds are good. Bluegrass
2
Angus.
and 6, that's it. 2 and 6.
I think it sets up.
And Pfeiffer's not fast enough. Pfeiffer's a route speed. I just don't see the pace being crazy to help out BC Charlie, which is why I've left him off the board. I could be totally wrong, which has happened a lot of times. And BC Charlie gets set up, and he didn't win last time getting set up. Couldn't beat the speed, and that's what disappointed me. When you get a pace and it's only 6 furlongs. When you get a pace and get craziness happening and the crawling coming to the wire and you don't win, I'm not playing you next time. in a race that doesn't have as much speed. I'll tell you that. And that was my concern with BC Charlie. I put the odds are good second, Pfeiffer third. 4, 1, and 6 but a good race, Drew. You're right. You're right.
In a race
It's a
you
good
can
competitor.
make
I
a
left out
case.
Bluegrass Angus, who shook off some rust with got killed on the pace, but he was on the tough part of the racetrack. And Richard jumping back aboard. No offense to Asensio, but I mean it's still he's been aboard for
Richard
a while.
knows the horse.
He does, and so it's a nice race. But I went 4-6-1 in the third. On to the fourth race. $4,000 claimers going 6.5 furlongs. Got a field of 9 signed on. I went to the 2 Majestic Stance, sat in behind the speed last time, ran an okay 7th at 3-5, but Richard Hamill will jump in the irons for Greg Tracy, and I think things will change. That was his first run at Hastings, second off of mini layoff. I just don't see a whole lot to lean on in here other than Majestic Stance. Put the 6-horse Classic Victory. It was closing well at the end of the race for last year's leading trainer Mike Anderson and the Todd Mountain Thoroughbreds and Enrique Gonzalez. Put that one in for second, and I put the 7 Milshon. Give that one another shot. Kind of ran okay last time, but still was, the horse is better than that race. Had been off since June too, so might have needed one. Might be better. 2, 6, 7.
I got the same horses. I think it's really between Classic Victory and Majestic Stance. I think those are the two that stand out in here. I put Classic Victory on top of the Greg Tracy horse Majestic Stance for the reasons you mentioned. And after that, then it looks logically Milshon, maybe King of Barrage or the Rosie Anderson barn, just a 1-start last year for 16. I had King of Barrage in there. I ended up going with Milshon because he's got a race. So I went 6, 2, and 7 in a muddled affair. But I think it's 6 and 2, 2, 6.
Yeah, it is. Those are the 2 horses, looks like to me.
In the fourth, on to the fifth, the maiden special weight for 3-year-olds and up. Going 6.5 furlongs, field of 11, full field here. I went with the 9 Fetisov for trainer Mike Anderson, picking Mike back-to-back. I picked Mike quite a bit this weekend. He's probably watching us on his couch, absolutely cursing me right now. Sorry, Mike.
That's all right.
I love the way Fetisov ran last
races.
time. He wins, leading trainer 2 years in a row. I love the way, this is a half story to Venetian Mask. Had been running on the East Coast, ran at Gulfstream, then at Monmouth. Came here and didn't have a great trip. He was wide and kind of looked a little bit lost out there in his first time over this oval, and then was absolutely flying at the end. I thought it was a very professional race. I think he moves forward off of that. Not necessarily a professional race, but professional closing. The way he was closing at the end, I love. He gets an extra half furlong today. John Gunther, whenever you see John Gunther as a breeder in these parts, watch out because those John Gunther breds run over this course very well. I got Fetisov on top of Coat of Arms, who battled gamely last time, just got caught late by Santa Fe Trail, only got beat a half. And Sandy Gann betting 50% right now for Glenn Todd's daughter, Dana Barker. She owns this one. And David Lopez, of course, on fire for those connections. Coat of Arms in second, logical horse to pick in here. And I put Timber King in the third spot. Went to the sidelines early last year, just got beat a neck by Pfeiffer. And ahead of Sanowar, but Pfeiffer's turned into a decent little horse. And you only got beat a neck by him the last time we saw him. I know it was for 25, this is a maiden special weight, but he's been off for a while. And Rob Gilker, he's brought some live horses in here this year, so keep an eye on him. Enrique Gonzalez takes the call. I went 9, 5, and 6.
I agree with the 9 Fetisov. That was an impressive first up run off the layoff since last May. This horse did encounter some issues in the race and still was very game. I thought Skylar Whiteshield gave a great ride and overcame some things, and it was just a field of 9 in a 6 furlong race. There's going to be issues.
Yeah,
and
it's
you
going
have
to be a mess.
and duck and dive and get away from trouble. But the horse has come back to work twice and looks pretty live in here. Put the 4-horse Handsome Chef in for second. This horse ran a 2 good race. He's licensed to be a runner. He's a 3-year-old though. By Rosberg, got a Montero, multiple stakes winner, and lots of trouble in his debut against All Under Control. He was one of the top 2-year-olds last year.
Salzburg, who came back and
steadied
crushed.
5, 6. This horse had a lot of trouble. He came back 2 months later, ran a good second to Silent Eagle, who was far more seasoned. He was 7 lengths clear of the 3rd horse. Ran a good race, but he's grown into a nice horse. I've seen him in the mornings. He's worked well. That 113 and change on May the 7th was excellent. He's since come back to work in 48 and 3. Amadeo sticks with him. He had his choices in here, and he's a promising young horse. We'll see how he does first time out. And I put the 5 Coat of Arms. I could have went 5 or 10. Soul Cat, I want to give another chance too as well. He hopped in the air at the start, ran 4th, only a couple lengths behind Fetisov, but did encounter some trouble. He was off 2 years too, so he's worth maybe following back off that big layoff. But Coat of Arms has speed, did everything right in that race. Did have the benefit of a race under his belt running at Turf Paradise, which definitely helped. And now that's the one thing you got to worry about sometimes is when you know, they were competitive in a race, but this horse did have a race under his belt. Now the other horses he was running with have a race under their belt with him, and now the second time out it's a little different. Things change. But I went 9, 4, and 5. Fedosov's your horse today.
Yeah, I like Fedosov.
To kick off your late pick 4. On to the sixth race, maiden $16,000 claimers, going 6.5 furlongs. I was torn between the 4 Jackson Teller and the 9 Liquid Metal. I'm going to give Liquid Metal the shot in here. This horse goes in blinkers. Was impeded badly going into the first turn. Was bounced out about 10 wide going into the turn. It says carried out.
Yeah.
That does the horse some justice, but it did get really impeded, and it cost him for his first race in a year. And he ran well till about the 16th pole and then flattened out. He's come back well, and Enrique Gonzalez re-rides him. And the blinkers will help as well. He's speed. He's going to get the lead in here, I think. And the 4 Jackson Teller, you know, he had been racing at Santa Anita. He had all the edge. Good runner-up effort to Imposing Cat. But once again, had a perfect trip. Had been winter raced. Things could be a little tighter between Liquid Metal and Jackson Teller this time. That's why I'm just going to sneak off to that one. I put He's Gadsby in for third. I liked all 3 horses coming out of that Imposing Cat race. 9, 4, and 8 for me.
I went to Jackson Teller. Unlucky to lose. Like we talked about before, Imposing Cat was eligible for that race because he'd run for 16 last year. Otherwise, he would have been a main special weight, and he looked that way. He looked very professional winning. Jackson Teller was well back that day. Unlucky to run into Imposing Cat, but was much the best of the rest. So I got Jackson Teller on top of Threeberry. Comes out of that maiden special weight with Santa Fe Trail and Coat of Arms. Only got beat 6 lengths. He pressed the pace. Well-bred son of Misremembered, and I thought a good first out this year, running against horses like Coat of Arms and Fedosov. I thought that it was a good first out. I'm going to put him in the second spot for the Rivers Edge Racing Stable, and I put He's Gatsby, who comes out of that same race, a good third behind Jackson Teller in that race. That Jackson Teller, I really like him today. I think he's a standout in here. Over Threeberry and He's Gatsby, 4, 5, and 8 for me in the 6th. On to the 7th, maiden 8 for fillies and mares, field of 9. And I had some trouble with this one. I couldn't decide between Such a Bargain and Discreet Country. Such a Bargain, a good first out running second, and Discreet Country. But Discreet Country just missed a Velvet Rose. And I went back and watched that race. Velvet Rose came back and ran an allowance race against some tough fillies, 3-year-old fillies.
They're hopping in here.
Who'd she beat? She beat the favorite. She beat Good Luck to You. She beat some nice fillies in that race. Ran 4th in a very tough race. So I gave the edge to Discreet Country over Such a Bargain. But Mark Lucche's going great guns right now. This filly just runs second behind Why Is It My Fault and comfortably ahead of the 3rd horse, Alder Glory. So Such a Bargain in the 2nd spot. And those are the 2 speeds. So I'm thinking that Discreet Country gets the speed. Enrique Gonzalez should sit just off him. And I think anybody else is going to have a tough time catching him. And I put Payment Plan out of the Mike Anderson barn in the 3rd spot. Did get it out this year. That was a $16,000 level. Now cuts her price in half for the Todd Mountain Thoroughbreds. Payment Plan in the 3rd spot, 1, 3, and 5.
Yeah, agreed. The 1's the horse to beat. Good run again. I know it was for $4,000, but it was an impressive performance. Just ran into Velvet Rose, who was protected that day, and that's the only reason they ran into Velvet Rose. It was clearly second. This horse deserves a bump up in class up to 8, and I think should be pretty dangerous. A nicely drawn in gate 1. I put the 9 Swagger Cat and the 5 Payment Plan, both dropping at a $16,000 maiden races. That extramarital race is far tougher than anything anyone else has come out of in here, and I just put those ones in behind. I really think the 1 Discreet Country's a key. That would be my key in the late pick 4. I want 1, 9, and 5.
And the wild card in here, just want to touch on quickly, the wild card in here is Miss Finality.
Oh, 2 years.
Haven't seen her since her 2-year-old year, but she was a pretty highly thought of 2-year-old here. Stakes place, haven't seen her in 2 years, shows up here for 8 for trainer Mark Lucche. An interesting one.
Horses are running good.
Maybe one that you put in your pick 4s or something, throw her in.
On to the 8th and final, 6250 older horses going 6.5 furlongs. The 3-horse Silent Native had a really tough trip last time and was wide. You know, once again, another 6 furlong race. Got 3 and 4 wide the first turn, no position. The horse lost interest again at the head of the lane. Horse, Merlot went on to win easily. There's no speed in this race other than Principe's Herbie, and I think this horse can outfoot Principe's Herbie to the lead and be pretty dangerous. I like Silent Native Lord Rosberg, I thought we had a very good run off
Yeah.
the layoff. I'm going to give that one another shot, and I put Ambidextrous Duke in for third. I know it was for $4,000. He ran into a very tough Similkameen Joey, who got an easy lead, a big lead, 5 lengths lead, as you'll see. The horse was 5 lengths in front of Ambidextrous Duke through the open quarter. But this one was running well at the end, and he's beat this caliber before, so I give him a shot. I went 3. I didn't know. A lot of route horses in it. 1, 2, 7.
Yeah.
Route horses.
Yeah.
Creus is just, I have trouble with Creus. The horse had every shot last time at this level, and just packed her in the last 16th of a mile. But I don't love anyone in here, but I think Silent Native will possess a lot of value, and I think Enrique Gonzalez is more aggressive than Amadeo. I think Silent Native will get the lead in here. When Silent Native makes the lead, this horse pretty game. So I went 3, 4, and 5.
I got the same horses, but I put Ambidextrous Duke on top. I know it's coming out of $4,000 races. These guys are coming out of tougher races.
Yeah.
But he had the best last race. I thought it was a big effort by him.
Yeah.
He's versatile. He can go to the lead. He can sit off it. So I feel like he's coming in the race the best. So I put Ambidextrous Duke on top of Lord Rosberg, who hadn't run in over a year. Went to the lead, and just got a little tired.
Well, it's hard when you go to the lead off a big layoff, and you have to run all the way. And
yeah,
it's
he's doing all the heavy lifting,
and I thought he hung in pretty good.
Yeah, he faded down the stretch a little bit, which you figured too. Only got beat 5 by Merlot and Prince Hotel and tough horses. So he could come back and run a big one for trainer Pat Jarvis. Lord Rosberg is second, and Silent Native, your top horse, I put in the third spot. Same horse as Mike, just a little bit different order. I went 5, 4, and 3 in the nightcap on Victoria Day.
Queen Victoria
Holiday
Day.
Monday. Up next on screen will be our selections. There we go. Mike, is always your
Back
first.
in race number 1, I went to the 5 horse, Dazzling Dawn, 5-4-1. Race number 2, I went to the 3, Fall at Last, 3, 4, and 2. Race number 3, the 4, Brass and Gold on the comeback, 4, 6, and 1. Race number 4, the 2, Majestic Stance over the 6, Classic Victory, 2, 6, 7. Race number 5, the 9, Fedosov, 9, 4, and 5. Race number 6, the 9, Liquid Metal, maybe a bit of an upset to defeat the 4, Jackson Teller, and the 8, He's Gatsby. At 7th race, number 1, probably one of my better bets of the day, Discreet Country, 1, 9, and 5. And then the last, number 3, Silent Native, 3, 4, 5.
On to my picks. There we go. Back in the first, the 3-year-old filly stake. I went to the very impressive number 5, Dazzling Dawn, the 3, Anstrom, and the 4, Yukon Bell. In the second, the boys' turn, 3-year-old boys' stake. I went to the number 3, Fall at Last, over the 2, AP Zona, and the 4, Driller. In the third, I went to the 5, BC Charlie, over the 1 and the 4. In the fourth, I went to the 6, Classic Victory, over the 2 and the 7. In the fifth, I agree with Mike on number 9, Fedosov, over the 5 and the 6. In the sixth, I went to the 4, Jackson Teller, over the 5 and the 8. In the seventh, I'm with Mike again on number 1, Discreet Country, at a short price, over the 3 and the 5. And on the nightcap, I went to the 5, Ambidextrous Duke, over the 4 and the 3.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. This concludes another edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. It's a quick reminder, our next live card will be next Saturday. We're going back to the Saturday, Sunday schedule, the 27th and 28th. We'll have 7 races on the Saturday and 8 races on the Sunday, likely. But great card today, 8 races, first post at 150. Should be a lot of fun.
It's supposed to be sunny and beautiful. Come on out for Victoria Day.
Okay, wear your shorts.
Yeah.
Over 25 degrees, well, 25.
Mike will be in his shorts, because Mike wears his shorts when it's like 5 below.
Yeah, well, I haven't had him on yet this year. His legs are a little on the light side. But thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We wish you lots of luck in your investments on the Holiday Monday program. On behalf of Drew, we'll see you next time here at Handicapper's Corner at the Derby Bar and Grill.